Hello and welcome back. If you are new here, hi, my name is Shani and I am a licensed professional clinical counselor. How many times have you seen a mental health meme and you're like, that's funny? What does it mean? We can laugh and not truly understand something. So I thought that I would make a video today, and that is reacting and breaking down mental health memes.
Yeah, boy.
Let's get into it. The first meme that we have on deck, it is, client uses aggressive language, chronically lies, continues attempts to divert conversation. My progress note, client is skilled in utilizing creative strategies to get their needs met. Okay, let me break down this meme. Trust is still being built throughout the therapeutic process. Like, I've worked with clients for say like months or even a year before they tell me something that they've actually wanted to tell me on day one. The reason for this is because as a therapist, we have to earn the client's trust. And even if they trust us, they may not trust us with those deep innermost thoughts. The reason for that is because they don't want to be judged. Although the client technically sees us as the professional and therapy overall has sort of this non-judgmental feel to it, we're still people. And I think that unconsciously clients recognize that. So sometimes they may deflect, they may, use aggressive language if we're like questioning, because we're getting to see the parts of them that they may not show to other people. Although yes, that is a funny one, because it's so funny because I feel like I've gotten skilled at, even though my notes are very just like generic, like if you read my note, what the hell you talked about in the session? One, I write my notes so that insurance companies play the claims. And then number two, I make sure that my clients' notes are very, very vague. But sometimes I drop gems in there so that I understand what the session was actually about. But hey, that's what a psychotherapy note is for, not a progress note. Meme number two, that's fucked up. Me on my 8th session, 4th cup of coffee, trying to empathize. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I don't know if any therapist has ever talked about this. Sometimes that last session of the day can be so mentally challenging for therapists to get through. Now, I'm in private practice, so my schedule doesn't have no more than 5 people in one day. But there are people who work in like community mental health and they see like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 clients in a day.
Oh my God! Wow!
Hello, I have been there. And when I was there, that last session, you are just like, oh yeah, tell me more. That comes out. You're trying to keep the conversation going. You're also trying to make sure that you are making sure that you are creating a space for the client to process. But I think in community mental health jobs, unfortunately, sometimes you're not the determining factor when it comes to your schedule and you're trying to get through the day. And I know that sounds probably really horrible to say, but you know what? Companies need to get their shit together. So this one, I feel it. Like, I've definitely had sessions where I'm just like, ah, shit, your mama did that? Damn, that's fucked up. Meme number 3. Do you think my therapist is ever like, man, I hope it is a gossip day today and not a trauma day? Yes, I'm here to tell y'all the truth. Absolutely. As a therapist, I'm human too. And sometimes I go through shit and I'm hoping that the session is a little bit more lively. Now, that's not to say that if it is a trauma session, I'm like, boom, therapist cap on, this is serious kind of day. But yeah, absolutely, I'm human. Like sometimes, especially depending on the sessions that I've been having. So like for me, I don't keep people that are struggling like severely mentally on my caseload. I keep no more than 2 of them, just because I have to make sure that I can give 100% to every client. Like, that's the truth, because the client only has one therapist. Although I have many clients, the client only has one therapist. And so sometimes I'm just like, I'm hoping today will be a T day. And by a T day, I'm like, I wonder, did they see that ex? I'm wondering, did they cuss their mama out? I wanna know the T too. Me throughout the week, can't wait for therapy. Can't wait to tell my therapist how bad I feel. Everything is awful. I just hate being alive. Therapist at session. How have you been? Me at session. Pretty good, doing my best. you. Let me just say that this feels so real. As someone who's been a client, you just sort of like go through the emotions of your day-to-day, right? And then when your therapy session happens, you're like, shit, I ain't got nothing to talk about, because you done process it. You done talk to your mama, you done talk to your friends, you done talk to your coworkers, you probably done wrote in your journal, you probably done drank a little bit, you probably, I don't know, did what you needed to do to get better, had a little bit of sex, gone to exercise, and you're like, okay, today I'm doing good. But had you caught me yesterday was fucked up, but today I'm doing good. And I also want to like honor that sometimes you don't want to go there. Like, you don't want to go back to that place that you were feeling on that fucked up day, because today is good. That's what real mean. I just paid close to $600 in clinical licensure renewal fees. So yeah, my rate is my rate. Let me talk to y'all about this. I know that people that are clients have struggled with how much therapists pay, or let me rephrase this. I know that there is this thing about therapy being costly, but one of the things that people don't recognize is like, to be a therapist, you have to have a master's degree. And then after you get the master's degree, you have to go through training and pay for what we call supervision. So my supervision, let me do this math for you really quick. You have to get 4,000 face-to-face hours with clients before you can get your licensure. Now, of that 4,000 hours, you need, I think for me, it was like 100 supervised hours. That basically means that someone who has a license, basically you bring your cases to them, you learn how to be a therapist, and they will sign off on your paperwork saying, yes, tell the board to give you a license, you are good to go. So if you have 100 hours, part of those hours, for Minnesota, I think at the time it was 50% of those hours needed to be face-to-face. But I think it was 75 hours individual, so you have to get 100 hours of supervision. And for me in Minnesota, I believe 50 of those hours had to be individual, and then 50 can be in a group. So if I did 50 hours individual, a supervisor charges, at the time, this was like 5 years ago, $95 an hour. This is the cost. So it cost me roughly $5,000 just for 50 hours of individual.
Oh my God! Wow!
Now, you don't get no loans for this. You don't get no FAFSA, nothing. This is out of pocket. So I had to pay out of pocket for that. On top of that, that's just 50. So the other 50 that I did was in group, and group is usually $35 an hour. So that one was $1,700. So I paid roughly like $7,000 just for supervision alone. And then in the mental health field, we have master's degrees. Nurses get paid more than us. Bachelor's level nurses get paid more than us. That's not to compare, that's just to let you know. Most people in the mental health field that are therapists that work for community mental health probably make somewhere between like $45,000 to $55,000. $55,000 in Minnesota was like, oh, I'm rich, bitch. So when someone goes into private practice, you are absolutely right that their rate is deserving to be $150 an hour. Because you know what? I saw a neurologist. You know what my deductible was to see a neurologist? And my follow-up appointment, which they didn't email me the results. They were like, no, you need to come in and get the results. And when I came in, it was to let me know that my results were normal. You know what my deductible was for that? $800. For a 15-minute consultation, or not a consultation, for a not even 15 minutes. It was like 5 minutes for the neurologist to tell me my MRI results were normal. I paid $800 for that. So you're damn right. Go ahead and pay your therapist for what they're worth, because just seeing you isn't the only time that they spend on your case. They do documenting, they think about you, they make treatment plans, they do progress notes. So let's pay our people what they're worth. All right, let's go on to the next meme. Behind every good therapist, there is a cringe-worthy memory from grad school of a super awkward role play. I'm the one that made the role play awkward. So in grad school, when you're becoming a therapist, you have to do like a role play, right? And my friend was the person that was in the role play with me. I decided to be someone that had borderline personality disorder, but my first major was also theater. And so I decided to play it up like times 10. And I remember when we're doing the role play, I told my friend who was pretending to be the therapist, I was like, you know, I remember what you told me that one time, ST. And my friend was like, oh yeah, what was that? I was like, stop, think, do, STD. And I remember she busted out laughing. And the professor was like, hold on, stop. Like, okay. Usually in role play, Shani, we do like anxiety, depression, trauma. I was like, I felt like I wanted to do a little acting today. So yes, there are definitely some cringe-worthy role plays from grad school, but I was living for it. I wanna thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. You're already here. You might as well go ahead and subscribe and become a part of this dope mental health community, because then I give you dope mental health content. I appreciate you and thank you so much for watching. Deuces.